now that I know what it's like to be a weakling, this form, hubris, I realize it suits me much better. I can't even buy my own juice when I want to. I guess I'm still penniless, even as a king.
Alright, I just need to go over here, post this.
I can't even buy my own juice when I want to. I guess I'm still penniless, even as a king.
Hello there. Alright. Let's go jump in this. Oops, move this over here. Hello there. Daylight savings bullshit, man. We fell back, remember? Oh wait, I forget. Arizona doesn't have to deal with this shit. It's only the rest of the fucking US has to put up with this bullshit. I know. Oh, I know. Trust me, it's not anything I want to deal with. I wish they would just leave it here and fuck off. Personally. Okay. Let's go send out energy to everybody. Get the daily energy sent off. Plus I'm late just because of, I tried to reinstall Outerplane, or well, LD Player, because I realized it's installed on the wrong drive, but then I couldn't get it all, I couldn't get it to not install to that drive. It automatically picks where it wants to go, and that's not where I want it, so I gotta try to figure out why LD Player is trying to install onto that drive. Super weird. Alright.
This is going to make me rich! This is going to make me rich! This is great!
Do that.
Let's keep on going like this!
Alright, that recharges in 11 days. Okay, so, yes, I did confirm yesterday, that you can use the, rockets at any point in time, by the way. That's old information. Yeah, the mobile, battle arena thing. Yeah, I've seen those before. It's basically, that's the game definition for, League of Legends. Is the play style. The DBZ one? Oh yeah, I heard about that. I've heard about that one. Yeah, I can't stand MOBAs at all. Any thoughts on Gnosis Valia? That it was just too soon? I don't give a shit, honestly, because they're gonna go into... Unless you're playing the gotta collect them all thing, it doesn't matter, because they're gonna be in here forever. She's not a limited unit. She's gonna sit in this banner till the game EOS's, so there's no rush on pulling her. You don't have to have her right away. I hadn't seen it. I have got to get this video, try to do this today. Worst case scenario, I just end up recording it. Is what I'll end up doing. And release it whenever I finish getting all my stuff moved over. Because right now I'm trying to track down on the 5 hard drives in the other computer where the hell that bumper and audio is that I use for the front and back. They dropped the patch notes today. Oh, I don't have X up. That's why I didn't see the ping. Well, looks like I gotta make a patch notes video if that's the case. Yep. Alright, cool. I'll do this video then today. World Boss will also begin, so that'll be nice. Stella's costume looks like ass, so don't need to worry about that. Yeah, I'll get this recorded today, and fuck, this would be so much easier if I knew where those two bumpers and audio clips were, but I have no freaking clue. I have not been able to find them. Which is terrible. Because like I can bring over a file from Premiere Pro, but it doesn't bring the thing with it. And the one thing I need to look at that I've just been forgetting to is if I can just export, like, I know there is a way to, I'm pretty sure there's a way to do it where I can get the files to go to. If I can get the files to go with it, I'll just delete the actual video file, which is like 15, 18 gigs. And then, I can bring over the 2 smaller ones, because they're like 500 megabytes each. Like, they're not huge. Because they're like 5-second 4K videos at 24 FPS. They're not like monsters. It's not like me recording a Outerplane video or anything like that where it's like 20, 30 gigs to do an Outerplane video. And then the audio files, well, that's another story. I don't know where those are. I know I have them on my computer. The studio computer's gonna have the files, but fuck me. Actually, we probably need to go try to do the thing. Now that I think about it, the quirks. So let's go, before we go do anything further, Swedish Mackerel, thank you for following. And we gotta redo this, so we know we're gonna grab Nella. Yeah, we knew she was gonna be a debuffer from, when they talked about her on the dev note. Veronica, I believe, is 6 stars as well, so we need to find a new unit to 6 star. Yeah, Veronica's 6 star, so let's go ahead and start looking at, let's see here. Who has priority over what we're working on? Alright. Noah doesn't really need it. Well, not hard to get. We only need 150 shards. She doesn't need it. Ame doesn't really need it. Dracon doesn't need it right now. Karen doesn't really need it. Valentine would too far away to worry about hers. Kappa doesn't really need hers. I mean, most of these don't need it. I think that's kind of where we're at, is they don't need it. So let's see. I mean, you know, the more I think about it, part of their business model failure is how they've designed characters. That is the reason why they're also failing. That's why they're not making as much money. So, like, Nikke, you're required to get at least 5. Basically, let's put it this way. You're basically required to get 5 max limit broke units. And then they have the Ascension, but that's a different story. So you're required to get those to get your synchro device to work. Then you don't have to do that. Then the reason you do pull for dupes in there is because you need the combat power, because stages have a penalty if you do not have high enough combat power. And it's a significant drop from a limit break to 1, and especially from an R7 to a limit break. So that devalues your dupes. Here, all normal limited units will be farmed up to 6 star over time. The Gnosis units, the Demiurge units that you pull from the normal banner, like Gnosis Velia, is not required to play anything unless you're PvPing, because of how it works. So it decentivizes the ability to need to pull it. Only stupid people go fucking chasing that shit, because they've been sold a lie by other content creators on that you need the 6 star. Which is not necessarily the truth. Because the content's balanced around the 3 star. It's just whale bait for PvP to get you to spend on those characters, which is good. But then the issue is the PvP here is garbage, so that then you don't end up needing to invest into it, because it goes back to the PvE will take priority over 90% of the content you're doing. You don't need it. Now I know there's a bunch of jerk-offs that try to argue the Burst 3. Burst 3 is not what the game's designed to play around. You don't need the Burst 3. The Burst 3 is cool, and it's valuable, but it's not the end-all, be-all. Hello there. I didn't know you were ready to be broken. Cool. There's another one into the pool of 6 stars. So yeah, it's the, there is definitely a part of this where it's because of how they design the characters, but it's also one of the best parts of the game is that you don't have to do this. So then it goes, okay, now how do you get the other business model? PvP doesn't even matter in this game. Take the number 1 spot on the arena road and wasting your life. I'll just buy the eighth or the difference for $5. exactly. The rewards here are terrible, and their excuse is that they gave out 12,000 Aether and 1,000 tickets is why they're not balancing that. Because they feel like it's going to hurt the economy. Well, guess what? You're not making enough money anyway, so you need to step up people's spending. Also, then the cost to level up units isn't terrible. Like, okay, so what's the number one thing you spend on in Nikkei for? Well, it's normally to get the characters. Then number 2 is to get the gear. If you go to Epic 7, what are you spending on mostly? Molagores at a certain point. Especially if you're pulling and running on every new unit, you're never going to have enough Molagores to level up your skills. Skills are what helps you win, because the more damage you have in your skills, the more likely you are to do the most damage to a unit. So therefore, you're going to probably be buying Molagore packs, plus you'll be buying the diamond currency to be summoning on banners. You'll be buying the mystic metal packs to be summoning the mystic units. So that value is there. Costumes are absolutely shit in Epic 7, so you don't have to worry about that, like actually spending for them. You go and you look at like Uma is 90% pulling for units, is the reason why they're making $20-30 million a month, is because you have to 5-star some of those cards, and they are brutal to do, especially because it's like the guarantee is like non-existent there. So yeah, they don't have enough artificial scarcity baked in to get people to spend, is what it kind of feels like. All right, so if I'm going to 6-star, I guess we're just gonna move down a list at this point, because it doesn't really matter. Like, what I'm looking at here, most of the units don't need it. Like, it's not like I'm putting them in PvP, so I don't need to have just the bulk stat, because it is, like, so if you are PvPing, the 6 stars are important, but it's not worth you blowing Aether to go chase, like, Demiurges if you are free to play. For the extra, 16% bulk?
Do you need something clean?
20% bulk. Yeah, for 20% more bulk to go get just that isn't worth the fucking retarded amount of Aether to do there. So I wouldn't say that the game has let me down. I know my expectations here from a business aspect. You made $300,000 in October. You're probably spending $250,000 to make the game in a month. So you made $50,000 profit. Is that good? Yes. Is that great? No. Does that keep you going? For now, yes. But it's the retention is what bugs me more than money at this point. Because you can milk a game for several years as long as you're green, you can milk the game. It's when it becomes a development cost is where you're going to start having to consider, what do you do? What they need to really, get their ass in gear on is to get the English voices put back. 1,000 summons, 4 selector tickets, 2 max selectors, 2 light dark selectors. Only got $300,000. I don't see the vision you see. So, okay, I'll put it to you like this. Look at it like, so here's what we're fighting. We have Blue Protocol, Battlefield 6, you had Duet Night Abyss, you had Chaos Zero Nightmare, which also has its own fucking shit of problems. Korea started mass refunding the game over there, so they're CZN's in deep shit. So that's gonna be funny to watch. You had a lot of games come out in October that I think directly hurt this. All right. We got a good influx of players. We also got a good influx of players just coming back to secure their account. And that was it. And then we look at new player growth. We lost a lot of tire kickers. So what I'm looking at is if we take the tire kickers and throw them away because they're going to be flavor of the month, they're here for 2 weeks and they're gone. There's nothing you can do ever to retain those players. Ever. Like, unless you literally give them the perfect power fantasy they want, they're not staying. Which is fine. That comes with everything. That's a normal loss wash you calculate with anything. Generosity. That's not something you have to worry about here. They are generous enough where it matters. So the 70,000 downloads is not just new players, but existing since it was a new app in the store. So 70,000 was the downloads for the game entirely for October. And what that is that 70,000 is also re-rolls. You have to remember. So if you want to take this, if you want to figure this out a little bit, we know that if we take my analytics 1-to-1, all right, for just shits and giggles, all right, if you want to take this for shits and giggles, and let's say this is really how this went, which is not. This is not how this goes. But there is 70,000 downloads that were estimated. My video got 8,500 views in total by now. So that's 61,500 other players, all right, that did not reroll, all right? So let's look at this from here. So we're going to say 8,500 players. And that is going to be 61,500. All right. So now that is those are going to be the re-rollers, or 8,500 re-rollers. Okay. So on the average attempt, it's going to be about 3 attempts to get a re-roll to go well. Now I've done it where it was 10, 12 re-rolls in a row to do it, and I've done it where it's the first one shot has done it. I know I sent screenshots to Zeph about this. So let's say 8,500 all did times 0.25. This way we're going to average it. We're not going to say every single one of them did 3, and we're not going to say every single one, but we at least are saying they did more than 2, less than 3. So now we put it at an average, and that is now 21,250 accounts were downloaded the game, because that is how it goes. That's every time they because you got to download the app to re-roll it. In terms of creating the instances, not the re-roll itself. So when you hit delete, so when you go into the re-roll and you hit delete, that's still 4 accounts. So if you're re-rolling 4, it's 4. If you're re-rolling 1 account, it's still that 1 account. But we're saying if we're going to box this, if we're going to multi-box this, we're going to average that the player multi-boxed 2.5 accounts when they did re-rolls. Now, if they didn't, that's why I'm not going to 3. I'm going to say 2.5 because we're going to hit the average of some people were maybe running 2, some people were doing whatever. All right, so now we take that out of the 70,000. So 250. You had 48,750 players. Okay, so are returning players. Now here's where you can start doing the math to break this down a little bit further. So, out of the returning players, we had roughly 48,200 or 48,750 that were either new one-shot accounts that did not reroll, or returning players coming back and playing the game. So, if we take the analytics here, you can kind of start figuring out where people came from. So, if we look at, of those 70,000 total, times 0.3 is 21,000, went to Global 2. We have 21,000, on Global 1, potentially, due to North America and, well, actually, we would need to make this a little bit higher, because that's not accounted, because that's just the United States is 30% of the global market. So if we count in everything in Europe that didn't go to Global 2, we would actually want this to be a little bit higher. So you're not looking at 30%, we would say, so I know that there are 7 countries on my analytics that are higher than 1%. So that's almost 40 that are in Europe and South America. Let's say 40... No, you have to say 50%. Because Brazil held more than 1%. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna say 50%. So, let's queue all this up. So, 35, and that's gonna be Global 1. So, 35,000 plus 21,000. So that's 80%. So 20% are on the Japanese server. So 56,000 are on Global 1 and Global 2 server. Which leaves 70,000 divided by, or minus 56 is 14,000 on JP. Okay, so because Southeast Asia was absolutely one of the most actually, I mean, you could probably realistically say it's probably more like 45 on global, 35 on Southeast Asia, but it doesn't matter in the end because JP is going to be the one that you also want to watch. So that's accounts that were created or downloaded the game one-off. So that's people coming back. The app did not need to be fully re-downloaded from the service transfer. And this also doesn't account for the other thing you need to think about, which is me downloading it on an emulator, then me downloading it on my phone to check it there. Hello there, how's it going? So, you could also shrink that number a little bit more. I think the total player base is less than what you think it is. So, if you went off numbers, you're probably dealing with somewhere around a community of around 50,000 players that are probably hiding around on the game. You know what? We're going to sell this. Which makes this interesting is, so the 300,000 actually isn't terrible. It's actually it's honestly, if you look at their whole revenue setup, it's actually it's pretty average. Because if you take out the worst in last month on the recorded data, all right, which is the 20,000 from September, which we're not going to count at all, and we're taking away the 600,000 or 700,000 they made in that November. You take those two away, and then you average out the 400s, 200s, and those 100,000 months. You're actually sitting around at like a $215,000 a month. I mean, they're still red averaged over 2025. If you average all the months together, they're probably still going red on a $250,000 a month budget. But then I also had room for being red in it in the budget. That's why I baked it in there, was like, if I was running it, I would rather be red, but it's actually money saved up. It's basically like a savings plan for bad months or catastrophic failure stuff. Alright, so we need to remove the invulnerability. So basically I need a stripper. It's interesting to look at. Do I think they are cooked? Oh, they're not in a great place right now. Do I think it's game over? That determines how this month goes.
What a wonderful evening.
And that's not me trying to... That's just me being honest and realistic here. They pull off this month and they do equal to or better, then there's a chance. December is going to be pretty rough to pull that off. Because December is normally the worst month for most games. Normally, because people have other things to spend on. So I need grass units. Oh, you can't remove his buff. Never mind. Okay. Feels hopeless to you? Okay, fine. Not a problem. Not a problem. Totally understand. There's no point in bringing her. What did you do? Gives you counterattack. Actually, I'm gonna run you. And see how this goes. I mean, there is still some left in this game. I don't think it's completely gone.
I see through you. Huh? Is it bugged? Woohoo! This must be a spook. Fine. Insolent wretch. On your knees. You look brittle. Submit to me. Please step aside. I choose you. Headshot. Oh, flame of Nirvana. Do you want me? Eat up, Kitsu. I see through you! This Tamamo-no-Mae! I must act. Don't get in my way. I need to go home, no matter what. I must act. Forgive me. I feel you! Dopamine overdose! Woohoo! Gotcha! Oh! Good.
Honestly, we're gonna take the gamble here and actually let her do her thing.
Remove the intruders! Yeah! I'll sunder you! What shall I get you with? I feel it rising! I choose you! Headshot! I want you. This is the paradise you've dreamed of. Or perhaps it's an infernal prison. We have an opportunity to recover my memories.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Stay still. Obliterate. Please
Let's see.
You look brittle. Submit to me. Please step aside.
Alright, there's its immortality.
I choose you. Headshot. Oh, flame of Nirvana. Good. Good. Insolent wretch. On your knees. What shall I get you with? I feel it rising.
Do that for the point generation.
Is here. I want you. Oh, soul of purity. I choose you. Headshot. Yes, I understand. Please step aside. Good.
We'll speed up the animations at least.
Good. Insolent wretch. On your knees. What shall I get you with? Here comes a big one. Let me off. I see through you. I feel it rising. I choose you. Headshot. I want you. Eat up, Kitsune. Fine. Good. You look brittle. Submit to me. What shall I get you with? That thing, just do.
Go ahead and apply the curses. Try to get more of this weakness gauge done.
Go home.
Oh, he's on weakness gauge and vulnerability. Shit. I should have done this a little bit differently.
Please step aside. Yes, I understand.
I should have done this differently.
I need more strength.
Okay. Because right now we are stuck with invincible buff, damage taken for 3 turns. Where is it? Attacks grants invulnerability. So we need to be able to get him broken, but that lasts for 3 turns, so whoops. Wait, did it close the app out? Son of a bitch. Well, that just ruined that run. I don't think it counted either. Terrible. Also, don't forget to use your fireworks today, everybody. It expires at reset. Use your fireworks. If you've skipped a couple days, you still have plenty of fireworks as long as you got all the special ones in the mail. You should be able to do this. Alright, let me go back to her story. Oh, cool. It didn't yeet it. Okay. Oh, no, it did. Damn it, it didn't count. Well, that sucks. That's terrible, actually. I forgot that I bought the shop out except for the weapon and the, thing. Okay, so that was a waste. Whoops. Ecology study for the Aether is fine, and the Transy Stone. Alright, let's buy up, actually, all of the friendship points stuff. Get our energy. Alright, cool. So let's go do the island. Get this done. We're gonna go invest into our quirks when we're done with this. It'll trust luck, not today. And go ahead and end these. Cool. We'll let that one go because we don't need to worry about it. Alright, good. Now let's go rock this. At Ava. Grab Valentine's gear. And Eternal. Cool. Oh.
Master, look at me now.
Die, sweetheart. You guys trust me, right? Look at this. Our guest thinks they're leaving.
So, we finished side stories last time we played, which now that means all the Aether is gone out of those except for new characters, which is fine. We will look for, we'll probably need to start looking at doing story to pull out what's left there. Skip through those.
Dive in. Come on, let's play. Check this out. Die, please. Eliminating enemies.
Trying to think, how do we want to go about this? Because that's pretty much the only place where where a large chunk of Aether is left.
Black fire.
Don't forget your cut of the winnings.
Because we've pulled it out of pretty much everything. Except for, obviously, the PvP first time rewards, but those aren't worth, so...
You guys trust me, right?
I think that's also part of the issue, is it's how their in-game content is set up. PvP isn't worth. Period. I mean, that's just, I think, where you have to draw the line in reality here. Is... no one's gonna go play against, and I mean, that's kind of the mentality with most gacha games, is when you know they're spending players, The free-to-play aren't gonna really do it unless they really have nothing else better to do with their time. Then they'll do it, and then they'll go grind out the... they'll grind it out. Like, that's not normal, but it's not uncommon to hear of. So...
Don't forget your cut of the winnings.
to make PvP more rewarding, there needs to be more to it, I think. Because the Aether issue is... I mean, that's piss on. I mean, the number one... Only the number one player gets a multi a week. Only. So... Everyone else doesn't. The amount of effort versus reward, time investment, doesn't feel good to do. Which is why most people I know hard skip the content. But that's one of the issues. That's where you get spending players. Huh. Well, damn. How do we fix this? Quirks. How do you make PvP more engaging for players? How do you do it? What's y'all's suggestions? What would make it more rewarding? For PvP. What makes it more rewarding? Is it the unfortunate reality of you need the RTA system here in order to bring it to make it more valuable? Is that kind of what we're up against here? It should be a lot more than just Aether, books, Demiurge, summons, Aether, etc. More things to spend on in the shop. But how does that convert to a spending player? Like an actual... Because here's the issue. They need money. So how do you get a player to spend money in this? It means, like, we're talking about how do we actually fix the content? Because grinding the shop is piss. Like, that thing's not worth. In the, like, grand scheme of things... That's not what your gonna be retention is gonna be based on. At least the way I look at it. That's not where you're getting your retention on. But you're right, the shop does need to be updated. That shop isn't good. I know why, okay, let me say this. I know where they're trying to go with it. So when you look at Arena League is meant to be, okay, come in and buy this, you know, these one-off pieces of gear. You know, I understand what they're trying to do with it. Like, that's supposed to be something, the shop, I mean, the books are there. Can buy instead of grind them. So, if we look at this from... So here's the issue. This guy does not fucking matter to the game at all, alright? Let's just go ahead and start here. If this is you and this is where you are at, you do not matter to the game at all. Honestly, these top 3 people right here do not matter because they're all probably circle jerking each other for the #1 spot. Alright? Top 10 to top 50. This is where the majority of the competition will end up being. Is between these. Getting out of this and then fighting for this, and then it's these guys trying to fight for this. This is not probably worth at all. Like, y'all can see there's so much Aether left on the table. Well, for me, it's, what? Plat 1 is the farthest I climbed. So I got to here. But I didn't even chase the Aether because it wasn't worth. Like, Master is where I think a large majority of the stable players of the game sit. Yeah. No, I mean, the Aether is a terrible reward here that you get monthly. Or weekly. And they know it. They know it needs fixing, but his excuse is the... His excuse is the, the rewards they gave out. Is why they don't want to do it, because they're afraid it'll break the economy. I don't think they realize they're on DEFCON 5 at this point. Like, you gotta go get something there.
Have you forgotten your manners?
I mean, the average person does. Not like gonna lie, you go to Starbucks, you go rent your Starbucks for a few hours, and trust me, it's coming back out of your bladder.
Miserable fool! I barely pulled it off. Cassie, come away!
This is my resolve. The throne is mine.
I mean, I know people who spend more on alcohol in one day.
No matter the trial.
Like, so that's, like, the Aether value, like, there's gotta be something more to it. So Epic 7's claim to fame with their RTA was the costume you'd get and that stupid fucking frame people would simp for. That's pretty much the two big things that would get people to go do the RTA in Epic 7 was that costume that they gave out.
Ancestors, lend me your strength.
Why waste days of grinding when I can buy the same amount of Aether they get for 9 minutes of my life?
As the world shrieks and
You're not wrong.
you've become so slow. You're literally
Okay, well, let's put it this way for you, Zeph. What makes it worth your time? Add standard and demi tickets to the rewards. Standard wouldn't do it because whales are already gonna have the... Whales already have all the units. So you gotta think, the top 10 are spending players, normally. They have everything. How do you get more people to spend? Okay, we need them to chase. This isn't necessarily about what makes free-to-play players go do the content. This is what you gotta think about. Think about this from a business standpoint. What gets a spending player to do the content? To get them to spend. Because here's the vicious circle. You gotta get a spending player to spend money, to do the content, to spend money, to do the content. You've got to do this vicious circle. A free-to-play player does not fucking matter at all to this game. Like, you're cannon fodder for them. Let's put it that way. Let's be real for 2 seconds without offending y'all. That's realistically what it is. A free-to-play player is cannon fodder for a whale. Or a spending player in PvP. So, you need to think about this vicious circle of you've got to get them to spend, but you got to make the reward worth them spending on so that they go back and they spend again to keep that vicious circle going, to keep them going. That's where they're lacking right now. They're too worried about the person like me who will spend $100, $200, maybe every other month or so in the game, who they're more worried about me than that guy. Because I'm sitting here with like 800 tickets because I'm only going to summon just a few units. Not the fact that a whale is going to be consistently rolling through that. If I'm going to grind this game over working 9 minutes, I expect at least a multi a week. I agree. I also agree with that. Okay, so what goes in there that puts a whale to go back through the grind? That's where I think I'm struggling with this is how do we get them to go through that vicious circle? Book skin tickets. If you were to grind enough, you can get a free skin.
Must carry on.
Okay, so these skins would have to be the equivalent of the RTA skins but here's the issue. Their skin system doesn't work the same as Epic 7's. So Epic 7, only the RTA skin redoes the animation. Okay? Here, because they're 3D models, we get the skin in the animation. Where in Epic 7, you had to reanimate the animation in order to get the animation to show the costume. They would update the voice line. And since it's 3D though, bang, pop it in and it's good. So you can't, so now how do you make that PvP costume stand out from the rest? You cross the line into the one thing you don't really want to do, add stats to it. Welcome to Seven Deadly Sins, Marvel Future Fight, blah, 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 blah. Where you get into, the slippery slope of, now it becomes exclusive-ish. How low do you have to go to get it? to get the stats. Now that costume has to be equipped, most likely. So it starts getting into a bunch of things that people don't really want to start hearing. Damn, is this game actually cooked? And I'm just like really trying to like... Is this my business sense just literally trying to think of how to save this? Okay, so... Alright, so we walk away from PvP for a moment. Captain, save a waifu, right? Okay, so how do we get that in terms of... Now PvE content. How do you get a player to spend money again in a PvE game? And spend days of your life. I'm gonna take my 20-minute break every day at work and buy 2 times as much daily. Damn, son. You ain't wrong. You're not right, you ain't wrong. Should I do... Okay, well, actually, if I'm going to use a light healer for now, let's use a dark damage dealer then. And that gives me... I'm only missing grass. And I'm only missing a ranger in this team. Because I've got a striker, I've got a mage, I've got a defender, I've got a healer. So I only need to switch out, realistically, this slot.
Your existence aggravates me. Disgusting thing.
The underworld is my home, and my side is the Reapers. May death equalize all. Necromancers control death. Die, please.
Once you rush the bosses, there is nothing you can do to progress. Gear is locked out of time. You can't do the other content without gear. So you're hunting bosses for 6 months plus. So, okay, now this goes back to what he talked about, which was he's wanting to bring in a Diablo-style gear grinder. Alright, so what's our take on that? It has to be manual. You cannot play through it. You cannot auto it. You cannot skip it. You have to manually play this content.
It's called death, and it'll be your sanctuary.
Is that enough?
Because nobody lives forever.
Yes, that's exactly what he said. It would be unlimited. Hello there. How's it going?
Send you a list of...
But you have to remember, we're not talking literal Diablo. That's impossible here. Like, we can't go literally dungeon crawl Diablo style.
It's a pleasure.
And that's one of the issues of skip tickets. And you know, this is one of the things that I argue with people about when they're like, they want everything skippable. I'm like, bro, you literally reduce this game to a nothingness play. You log in for 5-10 minutes and then you're gone. That's it. What's the value in it? What's the retention? What keeps you playing this game? If you're gonna come in and skip ticket the whole thing in minutes. Where's the value? Where's the fun?
As cold as ice.
Where's the progression?
No matter the
And that's an issue. Having everything skip ticketable is an issue. At least with Epic 7, you had to grind out the hunts. You had to physically play on an emulator and keep that shit up all day long. Or play it on your phone all day long. And yes, I had an emulator running 18 hours a day on that thing.
safety mode. I'm taking your life.
I timed my dailies for Kari. Last week, I was able to do events, Treasure Island,
And it'll be your
Arena, Monad, and Irregular in 20 minutes. Then I don't log in for the rest of the day.
really don't want to.
Interesting.
Your enemy. Crawl inside. My curse is killed.
And somebody said it took them 3 hours to do that content, by the way. I think they were in here yesterday, and they were saying it took them 3 hours to do the content. Or maybe it wasn't yesterday, it was the day before. It was whenever I did the last Outerplane stream. Well, that's kind of my point, was you can skip ticket half this content. But they specifically said it was Irregular,
Is the reaper.
Monad, and the other one.
Hellfire, incinerate my enemies.
Yeah, but we know Monad's getting a rework, so...
The heart of winter is cold as ice.
I'm taking your life. An ordeal like this. Just a stepping stone for a hero.
So, I also realized that part of the monetization issue is how the units are designed. You know, you don't have to 6-star them. You don't have to. That's also a technical issue. You know. And
I'm taking your life.
directly saying you don't have to hurts their bottom line. But it's the god honest truth, and you're not going to lie to people to go make them pull just to keep the game alive.
My curse is killed. That's simple. Weakness spotted.
It was great seeing you. Now freeze to death.
It's called death, and it'll be your sanctuary.
Alright.
Lives forever.
So they need to bring in the infinite grind. That's something that they need to have in here. That's one thing that's missing. The infinite grind. But the issue still comes in to the PvP thing,
The authority
which is generating PvP to be a valuable content, because you got to have 2 tiers to it. You have to have the tier that the actual spending players are going to fight over, and then you have to have the tier that the free-to-play players, light spenders, are going to fight over. Because the difference between a light spender and a free-to-play player ain't much here. So, how do we get that?
It's the hour of heroes, you knave.
PvP is RTA.
The underworld is my home, and my side is the reapers.
Yeah, because, I mean, it's not actually versus player. It's versus a player's account, but it's not the player playing against it.
Enemies.
Don't look away. As the world shrinks and disintegrates.
Die, please.
Shattered to pieces.
An ordeal like this. Just a stepping stone for a hero.
But then you also have to consider, too, if you bring in RTA, you bring in those people, and those people are absolutely fucking terrible to deal with. If you bring in the RTA crowd, they are the worst.
You can leave
part of the thing, but they're what's paying the damn bills. And that's the unfortunate. That's one of the unfortunate realities. You bring in RTA, you have to deal with those fuckers all the time. And that's one of the terrible things about this. Okay. Maybe it's for the greater good.
Did you prepare a will?
Maybe that is for the greater good of the game.
I'm taking your life. Black fire.
Because we need to, yeah.
Send you a list of my extra fees after I get
As much as I don't like who it brings into the game, it does solve issues. It does bring in more revenue if it's done right.
It's called death, and it'll be your sanctuary, because nobody lives forever. Necromancers control death.
It is. That's what I was saying. Is it's kind of like it's the necessary evil for this.
I'm taking your
I mean, God, we had to deal with that shit so much in Epic 7, which was ridiculous. I mean, literal brain-dead monkeys don't know how to pick up a spoon on their own. But, dear Lord, they pay and they keep the game going.
You can leave it to me. Activating safety mode.
Okay.
I'll teach you some
So read you the rewards, bring RTA in. That's probably going to triple your income right there.
matter of the trial. Nothing will stop my path to my utopia.
The sad thing is, even if we triple it, they're still not even going to be able to bring a collab back.
Innocent. My curse is
If you triple what they just made, that still doesn't bring a collab back. That's rough. If you triple October, that still doesn't bring it in.
This is my power. The authority of hubris.
Yes. Retain new players, but it's not even retain new players, it's convert new players. Oh yeah, fucking Outerpedia is a pain in the ass for this.
because nobody lives
And the Discord is definitely a part of the issue.
control.
Constantly going and pushing people to that and not actually directly answering questions is an issue.
Look away.
But it's on the Outerpedia. Well, yes and no. You have to realize too, it is way more valuable for a player to hear it directly from another player than to copy and send them to a website link. It shows you're disinterested in actually growing them as a person. There is something said for the one-on-one advice. People appreciate stuff like that. Maybe not the stupid Zoomers anymore now. Maybe that they don't give a shit. They're so antisocial it is already. They're great with handing a link over and going to it. But for somebody my age, which is actually more, which is actually like 45-50% of the market anyway, we appreciate somebody sitting down for 5 minutes and saying, yeah, no, here's kind of what's going on, instead of sending me to a goddamn website.
The underworld is my home, and my side is the Reapers. May death equalize
I get
all.
that. And that's why you have to not, like, when you build something, when you build a resource like Outerpedia, you can't fucking just slam whale example after whale example after whale example after whale example in there. You have to show it from a overall progression. You have to show a beginner's progression. You have to show the intermediate progression. You have to show the advanced progression. But just showing some guy who's literally spent, you know, God knows how many hours on his gear, and he blasts it through in 5 runs or less, it does no good to the community. They're not going to get any value out of that, because that's not how they are going to clear it. The average new player is going to be sitting there beating it If it says turn 30, beat it by, they're beating it on turn 27, 28, 29, or 30. That's where they're beating it. So you need to show them how they're going to get to that. When it says beat it on 25, they're going to be beating it on 23, 24, or 25. So show how to beat it on 24, 25. Not showing them some unrealistic fucking expectation of perfect red gear or mostly red gear with all their quirks maxed out. That's not going to help.
Winter has returned. On your knees.
Min units, everything.
It's called death,
Yeah.
and it'll be your sanctuary. Because nobody lives forever.
And that's one of the issues they don't do, is they don't explain shit on their tier lists. It's just about the unit itself. It has nothing to, it's no reason, there's no explanation of why they're there. And that's part of an issue. It's why I went on that light rant in the last summoning video, was because there's so much good being shown as bad in there. And that's a problem. That information overload is an issue.
Eliminating enemies.
But unfortunately, the players that are running it think they're doing it right. That's another thing. So you do get issues with stuff like that. Now, does that directly, completely, 100% curve a new player experience? Yes. It will hurt some. And it's not for, so people get emotional about this, and I mean, I've seen it already in the YouTube comments pop up of it, where they're like, oh, how stupid do you think you can be to think a website can hurt a game? Actually, a lot more than you realize if you don't understand the information that we're actually talking about. It's not that the direct thing is an issue. It's not that a tier list is going to ruin a game. That's not exactly what we're saying. It can get you a general idea, but you have to understand there are dumb and dumber. All right? Dumb goes in and just sees it and they summon point blank. Dumber goes around and tells that as actual fact without understanding. It's like, this pen is blue. And this is the best pen in the world. And it's blue. But dude, it's red. No, this is a blue pen. This is the best and most valuable pen you can ever have in your life. It can write your name. It can sign a check. And it's blue. But dude, I see this as red. Because all the other, or I see this as, but that's red. That's a red pen. Yes, but every content creator out here is telling you that this pen is blue. And it's the best thing out there. They're just parroting it without actually understanding the mechanics of it. The thing is this could be a red pen, but the internal mechanism of this could be blue. Could actually be blue ink. But if they didn't read it all and they don't understand why they're saying it, they just parrot it, they're the worst part of it because they don't understand what they're actually parroting. And we had a lot of that in Epic 7 when we dealt with their stuff. We had parrots who would parrot the content creators without actually understanding what was behind all of that. So, with a tier list, it gets a lot worse. In my opinion, it gets a lot worse for this, because here, this directly affects how a new player starts off, because most tier lists you see are S tier, A tier, don't summon for anything else. Find me a tier list, any tier list out there that does not have that mentality to it, and I'll bite. Go for it. You can say Outerplanes. No, it's not how that works. Because every player that I've ever came across any tier list, it's the top 2 and you don't fuck with the rest. And it's literally, you go find me a player who's playing with full off-meta shit and actually beating all content in any major content creation video. They're not. They're taking the top units, and that's all they ever show. They never show the bottom half to show you there is value there. You just need to gear them a little bit differently. You need to use slightly different teams because you can't just slam the same 3-4 units down the whole way through. Yeah, they're going to require different things. And then just miscategorizing, not understanding of how to actually rate stuff. This does actually hurt game progression. This does hurt players. And that sucks. Mui. Mui was a perfect example of misinformation. Because people wanted to say that Mui was the better unit over Clarissa, when every Wyvern run I ever showed proved that the investment was, that I could show you that one investment would go much further across the line of all things. And, you are looking at this from, an aspect of, if you go take Mui, you're going to have to reinvest into another character later to progress throughout the game. Or you take the investment once, you never have to upgrade it again, and it clears it faster. Simple as that. So, coolest shit I heard, amen. Clarissa, Alexa, and they gave options and showed how it worked. And that was going to be one of the best parts about the Wyvern and Y video when I was going to do it. Was showing you the Mui team built exactly how he should be, and then Clarissa being built exactly how she should be, and the teams clearing it faster. Also, it was the Alexa versus, what was that 4-star that we'd use in the one-shot? What was her name? The blue chick with the blue water sword chick. I forgot her name. I know her skills, because she'd go and if she crit, she'd take an extra turn. I literally forgot her name. I remember Clarissa. Yeah, for the Wyvern one-shot. Because it was Sigrid, Clarissa, this chick, and, Singelica, Sinful Angelica would be the Wyvern one-shot, but it was, I cannot remember the chick with the long sword that would go in and do the two-turn attack. I know, I don't remember her, but like, she was also an option you could have used. But then you had to go in and explain debuffs to these people in Wyvern, that the more debuffs were up, the better, Karen, thank you. You had to explain debuffs, that the more debuffs you had up on the thing, the more damage you did. Also, the more bleeds you could get up there, the better it did. Mui put up and did stuff for the team, but there were better ways to do it, and you could apply enough damage, and the barrier to get Sigrid across the damage line wasn't terrible. Like, you could do that pretty early on with stats, and I mean, that was what we broke down is, we showed you the average damage of the 3 units together, plus Sigrid's, and I said, all you gotta do is get these set up here at this speed, put it here, and this piece of junk unit here will go in and finish it off in this turn before you ever get detonated. And it will guarantee it. I mean, we had all sorts of stupid shit that we were trying to go show off in that. But that's like the difference in explaining it to a new player and the difference of showing it to a whale player. Because here's what a whale player does, all right? I'll give it to you in the Epic 7 example. If you go to a whale player and you ask them how to clear how to clear the hunt wyvern, they're gonna show you the one-shot team with strays. And they're gonna tell you it's the best team in the game, use this, blah 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 blah. With Sirmia too, yeah. It was possible. A little bit more jank, but it was possible. But they would go in and they're gonna tell you the strays team. Okay, well here's the issue right there. 80% of the player base couldn't get a hold of strays. Not easily. So why would you recommend to 80% of the player base who can't spend a unit because it's the best? This is the same shit that's going on Outerpedia right now. They put up stuff that the player can't actually afford or get to right away. So you need to have a middle ground of showing them the actual clear from their perspective of not having perfect gear or all the right correct best units. That hurts long-term progression because they go in and they get the wrong information. They see that they can't get it. They think it's a lot harder than it is because there's only one thought process there. Then their little spinny wheel of characters where you can replace it doesn't actually tell you which unit you need to replace and why. It's just you can use these units. So if you scroll it around thinking, I'm going to play with whoever has the biggest tits, you don't realize that that may not actually work out for you in the end. There are mechanics there to it. There's a reason some of these units are there. But if you replace it and you don't see why, it's just like that one content creator that's going around telling you that Tamamo-no-Mae's red version is better than Eternal for some of these hunts. He's fucking stupid. That's not how that works. Tamamo is not better in the long-term aspect of that hunt. Eternal is technically better for that one. But you go to the tier list, it doesn't tell you that. You see Tamamo is up there. You see content creators talking about it. But that's not actually why. Like, Eternal is a better debuffer. And they're also comparing, you know, two different types of units, too. That needs to be explained. That this actually does function better if it's built right. This does function better if it's moved over here. You have to put both of those there. But it doesn't. It's just a spinning wheel, and you can pick between them, and you don't know why. Now, I believe on that, on Outerpedia, Tamamo rotates on... Actually, who does Tamamo even rotate on? Outerpedia. So if I go to their guide here under, what is it, special requests, and you go to Chimera.
Finished on time.
Yeah, so this is all sorts of fucked up on what they've got going on here. So if you look at the final stage of stage 11 to 13, it's got Demiurge Stella, it's got Hilda, it's got Cannon, it's got Asti, it's got Monad Ava, Lizalette. And it's like, that doesn't mean fucking shit. Then for, under Eternal, it's got Tamamo, it's got Iota, Gnosis Nella. And it's like, okay, well, if they just click around on this, they don't know why these are here. They don't understand the mechanics of what this is doing. Eternal's the only one there that has a guaranteed defense break. Guaranteed defense break, may we add, for this. Then you click on Air, and then you're looking at Air, Valida, you're looking at Maxi, Demiurge Luna, Holy Night Blessing Diane, Belle Crenelle, that needs to be removed just completely from this. Belle needs to be, like, honestly, you need to just put the collab units aside and tell the community, here's a collab section. This is what you can use them for if you have them. If not, if you do not own these units, forget that they ever exist. They're never coming back. Then you have Valentine, Marrow, Scotty, Bren, Ember, and those right there, if you don't tell them why, you don't understand which one you're going to end up using. Like, you don't explain anything of these units in the order that they're in on these things. And that's also an issue. The endgame and veteran players have tunnel vision. I think it's okay, but it's not. You need to get used to having to help new players and not the same 100 people who have been here since day one. And that's also a part of it. I can definitely say that is something you will deal with. Like that whole guide right there for the Chimera thing is completely garbage. Like, in terms of showing the units, how does that help?
It's a pleasure to
You show them the units, but if a player looks around and plays, oh, well, I happen to have, like, okay, let's say they played off of their favorite units as they summoned, all right? And now I'm just gonna click around, and I'm not gonna look. I'm looking at you guys a little bit, but I need my mouse over it, so I'm gonna click, whoops, that's not how that's gonna work. Okay, how do I want to do this to make this work? Because I want to, like, randomize this thing. Okay, so if I click the button. Okay. So we're just gonna go with this. Then I'm gonna randomly click on this. And I'm still looking at you guys. Okay, let's call that. All right, let's go again. Let's keep rotating this next one. Rotating the next one. All right, let's go with that. And let's go find the arrow for this one. Okay. All right, there we go. So, my Chimera team is Fire Ember, Demiurge Asti, Hilda, and Demiurge Delta. Because this is what I clicked on for stage 1 to 10. That's not really what I wanted to do. Okay, let's go back and try that one more time. So we're just going to click around on this on 10 to 13. All right, there we go. Gonna keep clicking. Got that. All right, next up, let's click on this one. We're just gonna keep clicking, clicking, clicking. I'm trying not to watch. I'm trying to watch my screen as much as possible. And now, finally, let's go over here and click on this one until my finger goes numb. And that is my team. Okay, so here is my Chimera team now, because I randomized this. I need to use Fire Ember, Bell Crenel, Iota, and Cannon for Chimera 10 or 11 through 13. Well, as a brand new player, now I'm gonna go ask in that Discord, can I get Bell Crenel? Where do I get Bell? And they're gonna tell me, you can't, he's a collab unit. Okay, well, how do I get a hold of it? You can't. He won't be rerun. Well, why? I like him. He looks cool. Also, isn't he that guy from Danmachi? Yes. You can't get him. Okay. So then I go back, and I'm now figuring out, well, do I really want to do this? No. This is, like, it's poor information. There needs to be a... It's trying to be helpful, but it's being hurtful at the same time, and this is where it hurts the player base. It's not that it's bad information. It's the wrong information. It's the right information at the wrong time. Iota is a stunning unit. What are we doing with her there? Trying to damage clear? Cannon is a damage unit. Okay, I can get this. I can get behind that. It works. But why? Like, this is now their opinion, because this was their favorite units. They can't clear it with it. But they don't realize that the true starter is, and the best is gonna be Valentine, Air, Eternal, and Monad Ava will probably be the best. But if you don't, you need to put Tio in here. Tio's a great option. But guess what? Tio's not even on this. Because they fucking write her off. They'd rather put Lizalette there than Tio. Tio's a god tier unit. Especially for new players, because they're going to use the shit out of her. Because that's what they're going to have built early on. I love the vision, but the execution is bad. Yeah. So it's not that a website is hurting long term, but it's the constant push to that website is going to hurt a portion of the player base. You're giving them like the wrong information at the right information at the wrong time, and that's not a new player experience. And it's literally in one of those cases, I hate to say it, it's better to say nothing to say something at all. If you don't know the answer, shut the fuck up. Don't link them to the website. That's just how it should be. If you can't answer the question, ping somebody you know that might. Instead of linking that fucking website, go ping a player you think knows the answer to that. If you happen to know somebody who's experienced and knowledgeable, ping them and say, hey, maybe this person can answer your question. But the idea that they wanted was go send them to the website. But you get them into the wrong information, it's gonna suck. Because, like, I mean, I absolutely roasted them for was the, their tier list of the most used units is the literal most dogshit thing you could ever put out for a new player. It's literally fucking stupid. This whole top 5 list right here is absolutely the worst thing you could ever show a new player right away. Number 1 unit that you need to go summon for, according to this list, is Monad Ava.
Look at this. Our guest thinks they're leaving.
Okay, so that's gonna be super helpful. Alright, Diane. Okay, so that's now 2 healers we have to summon for. Demiurge Stella. Okay, I can bite. She is the queen of PvE. I can bite. Akari. Why the fuck are we putting her up here right now? How is she gonna be helpful to your overall gameplay? Tamara. I can kind of understand why she's here. Demiurge Asti. Why the fuck are we got another Demiurge up here? That's 3 premium units that new players can't get a hold of. Why the fuck are we putting her in hundreds of guides? This is I appreciate the concept, but this is a poor execution of it. Now, sure, are they wanting you to go through and do special requests? It's not gonna be... It was a poor idea. It's a good idea, poor execution of it. Because all it's gonna keep doing is it's gonna keep humping every time they put it in there. Which doesn't actually tell you why. That 80% of this unit is just used for its dual attack. It's only here because it defense breaks. It gives you a crit chance buff. It gives you nothing in terms of why they're in all the guides. And it doesn't tell you that it's just there because it's an option. That may not even be the best option, but it was a plausible option to let it go in there. It needs to be removed. It's fucking gonna misguide new players like something fierce. People who know what they're looking for, sure, it can help out. But that's gonna be a really detrimental thing to the new player experience because it's meshed information in the wrong sources. Alright, man, take care. We'll be here. So, you know, and I know some of these guys from Outerpedia come over here to the stream. And I know it's gonna offend some of them. Sorry, listen. It's because I've done this before. I can tell you from experience. You're misguiding new players. That's also my shtick, is unfortunately, I'm the new player helper. I don't give a fuck about in-game. Because if I can convert a new player to an in-game player, good, cool, that's what we're after. I'm all for being able to help bring them in and help get them to be long-term players. That's one of the cool parts about it. Bro, this thing's just fucking killing me here in the last, like... Yeah, literally, I had the thing dead and it kills me in the last, 5 seconds. What the hell? What in the actual fuckage? Okay, so we'll stop doing stupid shit and we're just gonna go do the really stupid shit. And I need a ranger. Where's Scotty? There, that fits most of the checks and balances that you'll need.
Fetch the moonlight, for your king has come.
So Outerpedia is part of an issue. Not a lot. Like, it's not gonna... We're talking that this is gonna affect probably 5 to 7% of... Probably 5 to... well...
Beginning the hunt. I'm shredded to pieces. Wisdom of the king, activate.
5%, yeah. It would be no more than 10, less than... No more than... No more than 10, no less than 5% of the player base is that going to actually hurt. So... You're not talking like a massive loss, but that's still, when you're in such a more niche community, that is partially an issue. So... RTA community is definitely needed to boost the game to go. You're gonna need that. You need to be careful about the official Discord and then the way they hump the Outerpedia website. That's part of an issue. The general retention of the game is just, I think, bad timing. If we look at what's going on. I would say what we're looking at.
I am the herald of finality. Eliminate.
I didn't even look at what their burst order was. Won't matter, they'll break it. A better new player retention is... You gotta build hype. Like, I mean, you gotta keep hype going, and you can't... These 3-week schedules is part of the issue. There is a reason the 2-week formula is theirs, because that... Most players are beating most things within the first week, and then you got the second week. But the way they do it is they got a 3rd week of lull in here, which is harming the long-term progression. Yes, it'll speed up stuff, and it will get them to... You'll get them to interact more with the game by having 2 weeks over and over and over again, because it's literally new story, new story, new story, new story. 3 weeks puts just enough drag on it that there's this whole week of dead, which now allows them to go play something else and then forget about it eventually, or I'll come back to it. It's not even a... it's not even about... coming back long term. You know, there are players who will come back, so player retention can be weird in that aspect. All right, so let's see what is actually killing us. And that time it clears. Okay. Whatever.
I shall go wherever, together with you.
And like here, what was the success of this? Well, one, it's going to be Akari and Monad Ava going at it. You've got the Demi Dracon was a part of that because of the damage reduction. And then Luna just doing Luna's shit. Like, that was straight Luna shenanigans. But a new player doesn't realize that Luna is 4-star and that Monad Ava was 5-star. So I had a dual attack, not something that they're gonna have right away. Not that that was the end-all be-all, but that was definitely something you could throw up there of that was a part of it. Alright, I can go buy my books there. Buy my books. Yeah, I only buy the red book from this. Okay, let's see. Clean this up. Let's see. I've got about 30 minutes left before I need to go. Take that. Any Aether counts. Alright. 2 hard mode. We'll get to that at some point. Alright. Heroes. So we need to look at skilling up stuff. So I have 138, 70, and 33. Shocking that I actually have more red books than I need right now. That blue books are actually the hang up for me. Okay, so
what can I do you for?
a 70% chance to taunt. At some point we'll do that, but we're gonna wait to her rework.
Oh, you cold? Let's go shred the gnar.
Air could get another 15% damage, which would help certain things, but it's not something I need to chase super hard. Luna's done.
Lower your
Dracon's... That actually could be valuable. 15 plus weakness gauge, so when we use Dracon, that could be value. That's not worth chasing. Not really worth chasing. Karen is something that we're gonna have to eventually level up for Monad, or for irregular extermination, but that's not gonna be right now. Nella doesn't need to go any further. Dracon doesn't need to go any further. Akari doesn't need to go any further. Tamamo, Kappa. Laplace, this probably needs to be leveled up, but she's a mage, so I don't really need to worry about that right now. not really needing to take up this Dahlia. This Noah never needs to be leveled up any further, because you don't use her 3, and that's not really worth. I mean, the weakness gauge here is kind of worth, but not in the grand scheme of things. Luna, again, not really worth. Mana and Ava, that's not really worth. You're in the synchro. You're maxed out for everything you need. The barrier strength wasn't worth. Not really worth taking up. You were a ticket, so that doesn't count. Let's see here.
So, what can I do?
Rona, don't really need to take her up. We don't need, like, the priority is cool, but we don't need this on, for everything that Valentine does. We don't need it. Diane is gonna eventually probably need to be maxed out in order for her to, like, really be, like, valuable in the long term, because we're losing her debuffs, or losing her buffs too early. Which is a part of the issue. This may need to get leveled up, because that's 25% damage, and that's 40% damage we're missing on that S1. Never will use this unit. I could honestly refund her for the little bit that I use her. I could refund this, and it wouldn't be that big of a deal. I've got 4 clocks too, so I mean, it's like, in the end, I could level up somebody else if I was pressured. You're in the synchro. You're not necessary. This would help make it 50-50 to land that extra curse for what we use her for, but it's not really worth it. The effect chance here actually would be nice on Dolly, especially because she's one of your major debuffers. I'm gonna be struggling to level her up. I don't find a ton of value in this Delta. Stropey's a little too weird to use. This Delta's a little too weird to use. Like, she's not bad. But this one's gonna be a little harder to use. I kinda need what she offers, but I don't want to level it up right now. So I can wait on this one. I will never level this fucking lolly up as long as I can avoid it. Ray will need for irregular extermination. So she'll have to get leveled up. Tamara was already maxed through a ticket. You're maxed because of the synchro device. 100% yeah, this would be worth for the debuff reduction. Or increase the debuff duration. It's 55. 70% chance? Okay, I wouldn't level that up much further. Like, I might take that up. And I'd probably take this. Like, this one, yeah, I can justify this one. Because then it's 100% chance it's not 50-50. I don't use her. I don't use him. I'm not really going to use her ever unless I'm forced to. There is reasons to level this and not to level this. She's good, but I don't think I need what she offers. I don't really think I need what she offers for what I beat. Like, there are definitely times where she could be handy if you had her, but this defense break is terrible. So I wouldn't really bring that in. I can understand a little bit of her tech, but I don't really need that.
Cindy has arrived.
Cindy is old school stuff. I mean, old school.
I will vanquish gods.
Notia. Gonna be really hard to justify using that.
Nice to meet
Regina. Not for the PvP that I do. I don't give a shit. I'm not gonna build this just for my defense. Never. I'm debating on actually building him. Just so that we can see it. Because after his buff, he got a lot better.
What? Enemies incoming?
weapons inspection. You'll be cooking your old
Waiting to build her.
My sword shall not falter.
Once she gets her English voice actor, then we'll finally build her.
Roger that. At your service.
I don't need what she offers. And the game crashed again. Yeah, so popping skill books, I'm kind of at the point where it's new and limited units that are showing up. Honestly. That's kind of where I'm at. New and limited units. Because I think everybody down here where we were at with Ember. Like, we're dealing with a lot. Like, we're about to roll into all those 2- and 1-star units that just are 6-starred.
The sun wants to celebrate.
Because she's down here. Yeah, we were like right in here.
What? Is it not
I'm not going to build this unit, so it doesn't matter. We're, you know, 2-star, 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 1-star units.
This means I get to do whatever I want, right?
Kuro, yeah, so, okay. Yeah, Kuro.
You missed Kuro?
The buff reversal tech is neat. But I'll tell you what, I don't know if I can actually pull myself to build this.
This means I get to do whatever I want, right?
Not building them.
Naru is up. Did you call for me? Yeah, let's get ready for battle. Are you ready? Huh? Yeah. Oh, what should I do? Oh.
What was your sauce again?
Okay, I'm ready.
There was a reason we did it. I think it was the stunned and shocked is why you would want her built.
What should I do?
Sophia?
Since you are a guest,
Public safety.
Yes, I'm ready. My one and only goal, to become the epitome of a mage.
Removes all debuffs, heals all allies. When an ally uses an attack that targets all enemies, grants a barrier and defense, the amount of barrier. Yeah, I wouldn't really be using her over a lot of the healers, but if I got into an elemental situation, I could see using this. Whoops, shit, I didn't mean to do that. I didn't mean to do that, so I mean, I could potentially level that up. Once again, not gonna fuck with her until she has her English voice actor. And then we'll level her up. Until then, we won't use any of the Japanese voice characters.
What? You wanted? You're going out? How bold of you to call on me.
It's an interesting unbuffable unit, but I don't think we really ever have come up to a situation where we needed to use Alice.
Of course I'm ready. The question is, an elegant...
it's a play.
At your service, my lord.
Ember. Again, maybe an elemental issue. I can kind of semi-justify that.
Time to scream your lungs out.
Increased accuracy and attack. Grants immortality. And what is your thing? You're a ranger tactician. That's gonna be a hard one for me to use. As a ranger, a fire ranger would make this one really hard to want to level up. I can kind of see where it is. Like, I mean, that's cool. Because that goes up to 65, well, 30, 80% chance to dual attack. So, I mean, it's helpful, but I think there was only like 1 or 2 more left down here. Because I think she's at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. Attacks all enemies when more than one target. Ignores 30% of the defense. That's neat, but ignores the target's defense and steals buffs. That is health and steals all buffs, which is nice. It is one of the few characters that can do that. And you can actually ignore up to 100% of the target's defense. Means that thing hits like a wet noodle. She's interesting. Not worth chasing right away.
Here's your armchair detective.
This one I can't quite put my head around leveling up. I get the accuracy. And the increased attack for 1 turn, 2 turns. It increases the priority of mages, is another thing to keep in mind here. So you can basically see our push mages. I get why people are wanting to use this for Glyces, but it just doesn't have enough to make it valuable. You know? And of course, I'm not going to level her up. Burned unit. Another mage, utility character.
Who needs to be dealt with?
Like, I like the kill when killed grants extra turn stuff, but that gets a lot harder to trigger. When attacking a boss, ignores 75% of the target's defense. Then, when granted stealth, enemies killed by this skill cannot be resurrected or revived. So it's like an extinction skill. That's not terrible. Removes 1 debuff, grants speed. Yeah, that's too situationally. Like, I could see where it has been useful. So yeah, we're basically sitting on level up the irregular units that you're going to need for irregular extermination. And that's pretty much it. Alright, next 6-star we're going to focus on. Let's just get it out there and get it over with. So I gotta go change my stuff over, which is what's terrible. I was looking at this earlier, and it's like all the major units that I actually would need to worry about are already done. I guess we could start working on the irregulars. So, because like, does Ame really need to be 6-star? No. Does Kara need to be 6-star? No. But as an irregular damage dealer, I can kind of back doing it. I mean, a part of me is wanting to go ahead and get Diane 6 stars just to be done with it. But I mean, that's a lot of time in there. Like, that's, I think, part of the issue with the standard 3 stars. This is why I tell y'all so hard not to go dupe them, is their value on duping them is near 0. Like, it's just a collection thing, and it's not like... If everybody had stuff where they had, you know, partial tech like this, where it increases a skill, it does something different like down in here, then yeah, this gets a lot easier to say, okay, yeah, I should really work on getting this unit 4 star. I should get this unit 5 star. I should get this unit, you know, 6 star. But because all normal units are all garbage and it's literally just a team stat, chain point, burst 3, and then team stat and weakness gauge. They're all that. So it's like the time investment in doing it is literally just gaining 20% bulk on your characters. Bulk and attack. That's it. That's all you're doing it for, is the bulk and attack. And what needs bulk and attack? In-games content. None of the normal content needs it. So... I guess let's go ahead and, so either we do... You... You. She's about to come off tomorrow. I'll no longer have her on the banner. Valentine, other than to say she's 6 star. When is anniversary? It'll be soon. That banner should be up, I think, what, tomorrow? Yeah, tomorrow, after maintenance. Oh, tonight? Ah, yes, yes, tonight. "12 hours and 13 minutes from now." All right. Let's go ahead and jump into Diane. Just to get it burned for today. We'll skip this for right now. Oh, you have to beat the floor 100. Okay. Hello there, how's it going? Alright. Upgrade stones. Go ahead and sweep those. You almost have as much Aether as I do? Yeah. Alright, let's go ahead and get this. Just in case, let's just burn all the fireworks. I don't think there's anything extra that you're gonna get out of it, but we'll just go ahead and burn them, because it's done now. Just a few. I'm gonna be real. I'd rather go spend the $80 on the Digimon game than to go spend $80 on the limited unit here. If I'm being real, I'd rather go buy the Digimon game. You're not helping Outerplane? I mean, I've already spent $100 in the game. Well, I don't have Digimon on Steam. I can make you part of my family and share my games with you. How does that work? Like, because I don't want it to be something where you can't play it if I'm playing with it. Really? On what? What did I spend $100 on? We bought some of the packs and the last month we bought some of the packs and the monthly stuff and some costumes. Okay. Interesting. I was part of the 300, I was a part of the 300,000 they made last month. I can say I was a part of it. Let me look at what I have, because I think I have several of the similars. Those are my games. Oh. I mean, to be fair, I've had this Steam account since December 2015. So, and most of these were bought on like the Steam Summer Sale or the Black Friday sale. Like, let's be real, the only game I have bought full price in the last year was Battlefield 6. That's the last game I have bought full price in a long time. I think I bought Horizon Zero Dawn at full price. I want to say Baldur's Gate 3 I think I actually got on sale. That was the only one, I think, yeah, on that Steam list, I think that's all I ever bought that was max price. And I mean, the only other one that would probably go on it is the Digimon game. So, but it's, for me, it's trying to figure out the time to play it. Like, I don't have a, I don't really have a great idea of what I wanted to do for moving forward, because I'm trying to figure out how I want to set up October. So we have actually, let me just get a notepad running real quick. Okay, so we have Outerplane. We have Battlefield 6 right now. We have Weathering Waves, which I need to get back on. Right now we have Duet Night Abyss that we're still messing with. We've got Vampire Survivors. That I want to get back to working with a little bit. I'm not going to play it daily, but it's something that I do want to kind of throw a stream here or there and keep progressing, unlocking some of those characters. When we have upcoming new Digimon game, I want to do Minecraft Let's Play again, and this one will be modded so that I can bring Minecraft back. We've got Halo Master Chief Edition with Hellcrest. So if anybody who does want to if anybody does want to play with us, we're gonna do probably a legendary run with some skulls on. I just don't know if we're gonna do all the skulls or not. I think he means Tamamo-no-Mae's Kitsune of Eternity. Which I'll get to in just a second. We've got that coming up, and where is my Steam at? Let's see. I will say for 2026, we'll put Stellar Blade on there at some point. We'll beat that. We'll go through and play it. We'll eventually do Undermine 1, Undermine 2. We'll eventually do that in 2026. Honestly, I'd like to go back through and live the nostalgia of Crash Bandicoot and Spyro again. Go back and play those. That would be fun. Outside that, I don't really have anything exciting long-term to grind out and play. So looking at the notepad here, it's realistically Battlefield 6 will probably be the most consistent thing. Weathering Waves will be there for a while. Duet Night Abyss is either it's gonna attach and I'm gonna get into it more, or it's gonna get kicked pretty soon. Vampire Survivors is an on and off thing. It's not something we're gonna grind consistently. The new Digimon game I don't think has long-term playability, but would definitely grind it out some. Minecraft would be a long running thing, because the idea is once I get this one going, we're gonna hang on to it for we're gonna do that. And then Halo is on and off as people want to play it, obviously. Okay, so you want to talk about Tamamo real quick? Tamamo is, I mean, not the greatest unit in the world, not the worst unit in the world. she's here for her curse. You'll put this down, you'll detonate the curse, and then you'll keep trying to apply curses with this. Detonate the curse, or apply the curse, detonate the curse, keep trying for curses. Apply the curse, detonate the curse, apply for curses. Is pretty much what you'll do, and then you're running her on attack with, trying to get as much attack as you can on her. And then you're going to want to try to get as much effectiveness as you want on her. I mean, she's not really the most impressive unit in the game. She's good for certain things. But she's not going to be your clear all content unit, which there's not many of those in there. Digimon is long. Okay. She has a great lobby. I'm sorry, I can't justify 50,000-60,000 Aether for a lobby. It's too stupid and degenerate for me. So I guess what I'm gonna do is gonna let this sit here. We're gonna run it on this. Yeah, I've seen it. Still not worth. So, I think this will be where I call it. Time for me to get some stuff going. Again, I think this week is just safe to say. I'm not sure if we will or will not have streams this week at night. It's just going to depend on what I get done and all that. I'll try to see if I can find the... I mean, the worst case scenario, I just hook up to the other computer and try to record the... try to record the video over there. Because I'd have to move the mic and the webcam over there. But I need to get that patch note video recorded and get that uploaded, hopefully today. Yeah, so I hope y'all have a great rest of your day. Hopefully we can get around tonight on maybe do some Boomer Squad, or something like that. We'll see. Already did, my dude. Go back and watch the VOD. So, yeah. Take care, enjoy, and I'll see y'all later.